I'm going to do this just by memory. I'm not going to do from text. This is Larry Flint, who was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, when I was doing a book on medical malpractice and mind control murders that were done in patterns. It can be proven. And his was one of the shootings in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I was living in Marietta, and he says here, I know who was responsible for his shooting, and he mentions Larry McDonald. I hope I'm telling this. I'm trying to get it up. Um, yeah. Whose plane went down later in '83, and I was flown out to Larry Flint's. He helped me in that campaign, and this was done in '84, this endorsement here of Hustler, in Hustler. But the Virginia Tech, and there's a list, I mean, really a long list of the murders that were done. Now I want to use mind control. This is my dad who never married Wallace Simpson. A double did. And I'm going to get this up so that I get all this on here, maybe. That's Wallace Simpson, and an impostor that became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor in '37. After my dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, a school teacher, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, an American from Madison, Wisconsin. So that was a lie. It was a plot to take down my father, and they did. My God, my dad was married to my mom, not Wallace Simpson. The imposter did all these weird things, if you want to call it weird, and it was attributed to my father and all the womanizing and all of this. Well, I do know this, that when I came to Roanoke, October the 20th of '86, that my dad and my mom were still alive. Now, the double that Mary Simpson died in '72 and was buried on Windsor Castle ground. And that's an illegal title. And most people, I tell it over and over, and the media's got a blackout on it. They knew it before I did about my birth. I didn't find out until late '83. And let me try to get it in order here. I'm tired and I got a lot going on where I'm at. When I was born in '39, there was an addendum to the forced abdication, and it stated, should an heir be born, that the heir would not be disinherited. So the day I was born, my father should have come back as guardian or power of attorney. Well, that's when my Uncle George in '39, that's the year I was born, and kidnapped in '41. Roosevelt appointed Kennedy, by the way, Joe Kennedy, the old Kennedy ambassador to Great Britain, and he was kicked out. He was there from '36. Watch the timeline when my dad became king and then was taken down, and he was kicked out in '46. Okay, I was kidnapped in '41, and they're planning it here. Roosevelt, Franklin Delano, Uncle George, and the day I was born. Let me get back to that. I am Victoria II, heir to the British crown, and it should have brought my father back as guardian. And of course, it just made it. He wasn't. They didn't let him, and it is legal. The addendum is legal, and that's all I have to say. It went through proper channels. So this has all been taken down to my dad, me, giving me another name, bringing me over here to a pigsty near Cortland Air Base. I'm assuming since the Kennedy boys, JFK and the older brother Joe, flew in and out to the embassy in London during a few years before I was born and after. I know they were part of my kidnapping. Whether they flew me into Cortland, Alabama, I don't know. I do remember some, now that I was told about my kidnapping, and that what I remember is me. Nobody else told that but me. So anyway, I don't really know. But let me say this. This is one of the twins, and Lionel Dempsey killed the twins. and inserted the date it was wrong, given the date they gave me didn't jive with the ones on the birth certificate. There was a year or so difference, and this is Carl. And of course, both were killed. Now, I'm going to jump to this. This is the family here, and they didn't look like this. This is me, and I ran away from them, telling them I didn't want to be in there. I wasn't part of their family. Well, they put me in anyway. So they're all dressed up here. They didn't have cars, and the shack they lived on is over here, you don't see. It was horrible. This is Lina that killed the twins. She was a psychopath. So, I guess I'm jumping around. This is Obama, part of the New World Order, and that's Caroline Kennedy, JFK's daughter, made ambassador to Japan. Now I want to get back to how they demonized my dad with lies. Didn't even tell about who he's really married to and my birth or anything. Destroyed him. Destroyed me and my family, really. So John Kennedy, JFK, became president, and he was appointing his brother Bobby, or Robert, to U.S. Attorney General over the Justice Department. And I can't Google because, believe it or not, my server's down again. And, I don't know, something's going on out there. I may have to just put this up for a little while. But anyway, Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy's name is on the building there. So you control the Justice Department, and you turn something over like Comey did. FBI Director Comey turns it over. They don't have to prosecute it. They can cover it up. And I fully believe that's the reason he made that public the first time anyway, about the Hillary Clinton's misdoings. Anybody with sense knew that she should have been prosecuted. And anyway, you get the gist. If you control your law enforcement and your Justice Department, then you control everything. And let me say this, it can go before a district attorney, if it's the sheriff's department, before their attorney. And those that investigate it, like the police or detective, can turn it over. And the district attorney doesn't have to prosecute it. He can let it lie there for whatever reason. Maybe you got all the evidence in the world. But if he doesn't want to prosecute it, it won't get prosecuted. It'll be on the back burner, and that'll be the end of it. So it's not as hard as you think to hide. I wonder how many have been done like that. How many criminals, because they were a crony or a friend, went unprosecuted their cases. So I don't know if I've made it. I did want to make one other thing, though. Robert Kennedy too, but John Kennedy, you know, he was a womanizer. He really was. Look what they did to my father. And I've just told you. Now, then, people adore John Kennedy. It didn't matter that Marilyn Monroe, he dated her, that she died under, supposed to be suicide. Well, Dorothy Kilgallen was supposed to die with suicide, suddenly developed mental illness and committed suicide, which is crazy in itself. She was a prominent news person, and when she said she had the link to the Kennedy's death, why, next thing you know, she's dead. And they say she committed suicide. Anyway, people adore John Kennedy. It doesn't matter what he did. You can't say anything about him. I can't tell that he was part of my kidnapping. They don't care. They actually get upset with me, the messenger. They blatantly don't care. And so I compare to what was done to my father. And here they love this man who kidnapped, who was part of the mafia. You can call it what you want to. It's mafia. It's the Illuminati, the New World Order. They control it through the United Nations, or that's just another arm of it. They control the media, and that's all I have to say right at the moment. I hope this makes sense, and